From the very bottom of my heart, I genuinely believe Chainsaw Man is mid. Mid. What does it mean? Its meaning has been lost to time. Mid is not a word that should be used for harm. Over the years, it's become a way to insult something. But the reality is, mid is good. Mid isn't bad. To me, mid means it had a potential to be outstanding. That's what mid means to me. The story, characters, art, and pacing of Chainsaw Man came so close to being perfect. But there's one thing that I haven't seen many people talk about, and it's one of my biggest problems with the story. The fucking thing, the manga. You know what I'm fucking saying, right? And can you guess what it is? It's shitty power scaling. Nothing takes me out of the story more like shitty power scaling. Opposite also applies. Good power scaling gets me invested. Let's be honest, no one likes power scaling. No one likes it when your favorite character gets fucking destroyed by something that they should have been able to handle when they were fucking 16 years old. Now I gotta be specific here. Chainsaw Man's power dynamic that it has and power balance is very bad on purpose, kind of. The creator of the manga really wants to put emphasis on this thing is much stronger than you expected, and the complete opposite. I thought this thing was gonna be much better, but this is what I got, and then the fucking fans go wild. Holy shit, he subverted my expectations. My favorite character's dead because of bad writing, I guess. But there is one character in this series that suffers the most from this horrible writing. It is the worst. It is a horrible excuse to say the power dynamic is the reason this character died. This character is violence. One of the first things we find out about violence, the first thing, is why he's wearing a mask. Violence is unbelievably powerful. Do not remove that mask under any circumstances. Why? Because the mask poisons violence, and the poison weakens him. That's right, his mask is there for the sole purpose to weaken him because he's so strong. So do not remove that mask under any circumstance, because that means he won't be weakened and he'll be too strong. I don't know about you, but now I really want to see him without the mask. At this point in the story, we've seen some very, very strong enemies. But he is the one that has to keep a mask on, otherwise he's too powerful? Oh shit. Do you hear that? A sound of a fight is about to happen. Holy shit, it's happening. It's happening. It's happening. Will this be the time I've been waiting for? Will Violence take off his mask? Who is he fighting? It's the Devil of Darkness himself? No way. In the blink of an eye, the Darkness Devil cuts off everyone's arms instantly. There's death all around him, decapitations, torsos flying everywhere. There's no choice now. We need to fight darkness with darkness, power with power. Violence takes off his mask, and there we see it. His true form. His strength, unimaginable and unmatched, and he's dead. Like, instantly. Like, didn't get a hit in. Well, how does the devil get defeated then? Makima shows up, the Darkness Devil gives her a very firm handshake, she points at him, and he dies. Having Violence die and Makima show up and kill the Darkness Devil was all done on purpose. It was to show a power scaling of these three to show who's actually in charge, who's actually the strongest. And this trope, when done right, is one of my favorite tropes in any storytelling. There always being another bigger fish is always such an interesting concept, to think you've seen the strongest, but it gets taken out by something stronger. But sadly, this was not done right. This was done horribly. In fact, this was done in the worst way possible. Show and do not tell that this person is stronger and this person is weaker. But sadly, in Violence's case, all we got was tell. Now, I'm making it sound like this is all just trash and horrible, but you remember what I said at the start. This is mid. Mid has potential. So where was the potential in Violence's reveal? Well, there's one key instance where he could have been built up to be intimidating and powerful. The fight with the Bomb Devil is the one fight that Violence had to prove himself. But this is how the fight plays out. Bomb Devil appears, Violence appears, Violence tries to hold off Bomb Devil in base form with his mask on, realizes she's too powerful, and he runs away. Now, this whole scene and interaction was played off as a joke, which is fine. In fact, I thought it was pretty funny, because I was under the impression, oh, we will see him actually try really hard later on. But that wasn't the case. Now, I want to wrap up this power scaling thing pretty quickly, so I'm going to give you a hypothetical situation in the story of what should have happened. The Bomb Devil is overpowering Violence. He has to take off his mask, otherwise he will lose. And you gotta remember, at this point, the Bomb Devil has infiltrated a devil hunting facility, a training facility. This is an emergency. There is now or never for Violence. He takes off his mask and he's ultra powerful. The Bomb Devil punches Violence, creates a massive smoke screen, and then through the shadow of the smoke you see him walking, and then next panel, a fist comes straight through the smoke and overpowers the Bomb Devil. And this is really important because so far all we've seen is the Bomb Devil completely annihilate everyone. She's instantly killed humans, instantly killed everything, and she's really quick. And she uses her speed to escape Violence. And now, I'm not saying like, oh, Violence should like run and fucking catch up and grab her by the leg and throw her back down, because I don't know. I'm just going from he is strong and that's it, because the writing is fucking dog shit and we don't have any basis for how fast he even moves. Anyway, fucking sorry about that. She gets away and the story progresses as normal. So what's actually changed here? Violence still shows up, Violence still delays the Bomb Devil, the entire story is still progressing as designed. The only difference is we now have a scale of how strong Violence is, and yes, he's very strong like we were told before, but this time we just actually get to see it. And now we have a good power scale dynamic, so we know now that Violence is either stronger or just as strong as the Bomb Devil, but we've seen Makima destroy the Bomb Devil, but Violence still has strength that we were yet to see because the Bomb Devil had to run away. So we still don't know if full strength Violence going all out is as strong as Makima, and that would make for a good power dynamic. And then when the Darkness Devil comes and easily kills Violence, then we're like, holy shit, this guy is really strong. And then when Makima comes over and instantly kills the Darkness Devil, we realize she's strong. Instead of in the original story where Violence just dies, and we're like, well, okay, he could have been as strong as fucking anyone else that just died. This was all because of a fucking fake scenario that I made up in my head, and it's instantly 20 times better. I just want to make it very clear, I don't think you need good artwork to make a good story, but I do want consistent artwork. I'm going to give you 3 examples of mangas that have consistent quality in their artwork. First, we got Berserk. Berserk looks good the entire way through, 100% always on point. Number 2, One Punch Man. Looks good, but sometimes it has amazing artwork. One Piece. Looks okay, nothing special, but every now and then, if you're lucky, you get something looking pretty decent. And they are consistent with this rule. Berserk, always good. You read Berserk, you know what you're getting into. You read One Piece, you know what you're getting into. You read One Punch Man, you know what you're getting into. Chainsaw Man is different. Chainsaw Man isn't like Berserk where it's stunning the entire way through, or One Piece where it's pretty meh the whole way through, with a little bit of spice every now and then. It's not even like One Punch Man where it looks decent, but sometimes it blows you away. It's consistently inconsistent. One second you're looking at something really good, or something stunning almost, really impressive, up there with the heavy hitters like Berserk, and then the next you're looking at fucking this thing. Like, this thing right here is a main character. This is a bad guy that we've been building up to. This other one that looks good is also one that we've been building up to. There's no consistency. It's only consistently, randomly bad with consistency. What? I don't even think this is like a hot topic. Like, this is, oh, he said this. I think everyone can clearly see who's read it. Like, the inconsistency, I'm gonna stop saying that. To see the difference of quality just randomly drop and go up and drop and like. And just as a side note, before we wrap up the artwork, you know in One Piece and Naruto, when the animation team is clearly saving up their budget and energy for like the next big scene, Chainsaw Man doesn't even do that. Scenes where there should be high budget and high energy put into it aren't there. And then scenes where it's like not important, all of a sudden the quality returns. It's really, dare I say, inconsistent. So there are 3 more topics that I got to talk about before wrapping this up. That is story, characters, and pacing. Pacing will go last because everything is about to lead up into pacing and my nice and polite thoughts on the pacing of the story. Let's talk about the main characters. We've got Weed Whacker, Top Knot, Weak, Majima, and Old Man. And I know what you're thinking. What about these characters? What about her? What about him? What about this thing? We're saving that for pacing. I'll make this nice and easy. I'll name the character, say what I like and don't like about the character, and we'll move on. First, and probably least, the main character. Let's talk about his motive. It's something that would have been funny to me 3 years ago, maybe. Yeah, 3 years ago. There was a time where I would have thought that was hilarious. What a cool and stupid, funny motivation to like do what you do. Haha, funny anime boobies, but like, and no hate to anyone that likes it and is my age or older that still thinks it's genuinely funny. To me, it's just a little bit boring. Because I've seen it before, and I've seen that type of stuff when I was younger, and like, anime was more than just, you know, watching it for the plot back in the day. You know, I've gotten way over that, so it's just a little bit boring of a motive to me, if I'm being honest. His design, I like it quite a bit. I like his sharp teeth, I like his human form, and I like his devil form. I think out of all the devils that have like a weapon for a head and weapon for arms, the chainsaws do look the best. I enjoy his design. His powers and attacks are cool. It's very simple. He pulls his string, he revs up, he turns into a chainsaw. It's simple and it's easy to understand and it's effective. Top Knot. I like his motivation, but it feels like they kind of forget about it sometimes. To be fair, he has multiple motivations. He has the one everyone knows about, where he wants to get revenge on the Gun Devil. But then he also has this whole situation with dying and knowing he's about to die very soon. Having multiple motives isn't a bad thing. In fact, I like this character and he was my favorite character for a while because of his multiple motives. He always had this sense of a constant burden. I wonder if anyone agrees with me when they were reading that they felt like his character kind of stopped becoming relevant after a while. He had all of this build up and meaning and backstory, and then he got replaced by all these different characters. But that's a problem with its pacing, and we'll get into that and how it affects his backstory when we talk about the pacing. At a first look, you'll think his design is pretty boring, and you'd be right, it's kind of on purpose, because it's supposed to be him getting compared to everything else. He's like the straight as an arrow, boring, monotone guy, while there's all this wacky, demonic shit happening. He's just a dude in a suit, he's a normal guy. His abilities and powers are cool. I just wish his dog, the big dog demon that he used like twice, was around a lot longer. His future sight demon was pretty okay. I like the demon's character, but he didn't really use the abilities too much. But besides that, they're alright. I just think they could have been used quite a bit more. Power's motives are interesting. She's a character that doesn't have any motives until the very, very end, where she realizes that she like learnt something. She was just like chilling the entire time. She didn't do much until she realized she like learnt the lesson of friendship, literally. So that's cool. I think it's very safe to say her design was made to match the main character. Like, if I show you a picture of these two standing side by side and I say their entire dynamic are like siblings who argue with each other, but when the time comes they step up and protect each other, you'd be like, yeah, I can see that. Her abilities are very cool. You've seen it before a million times. She can use her blood and transform her blood into weapons. Too bad, like, the writing's dog shit and she, like, creates a hammer and a dagger, and that's about it. Ugh. Now, her motivations. are slightly hard to talk about because it's just confusing. So she has, from what I think, she has like three. She has her idea of what could make a peaceful world, and then she has the one that everyone understands. She wants to die by the Chainsaw Man because she's like a fangirl, or she wants to defeat the Chainsaw Man and like control the Chainsaw Man because it would be like a double win, you know, like, oh, I'm stronger. It's fucking stupid. It's really lame. She purposely looks like a normal girl. That's her whole thing, is that she wants to not look like a demon so she can fool everyone, so I guess it works. She has cool eyes, that's about it. Her abilities are a little bit confusing. So the simple one is she points at people, but sometimes she doesn't. She just thinks about them and they die. So normally she points at people and they explode, but there was also a time where like she was over the phone with someone and they died. So it's a little bit weird. But whatever. She's strong. She points at people. And then she has this other ability, which I'm not sure if it's two separate abilities or one ability. So she has an ability where if someone genuinely believes that they're weaker than her, they get controlled by her. And then if she can also make the demon fuse with someone who's hold on. Alright, so this is how I think it goes. You're a human, you genuinely think you're weaker than her, so then she controls you. And then if you're a demon and she is stronger than you, she can make the demon go into a person who she controls. I think. I could be wrong. I don't care. It's fucking dumb and it's a stupid ability. The old man, he's cool, but his whole entire purpose is that he's like mystery old man. He's got scars, he wears a trench coat, he's really strong, you don't know how he's strong, blah 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 blah. The only thing that made him one of my favorites is that once we learn who the real bad guy is, he becomes more of a prevalent character and more important, and then I start to like him more. Besides that, they kind of don't do much with him. I got good news. The good news is the main story is very easy to follow. I also got bad news. All the other stories make no fucking sense and the pacing is horrible. Let's only talk about the good one for now. I will talk about the other sub-stories, but for now we'll just talk about the main one because all the sub-stories will fall into the problem with pacing and we'll keep that all in like one little tight fucking package, you know what I'm saying? Now I understand saying I'm going to talk about the story could mean I'm going to be here for the next 10 days. So I'm gonna narrow it down to the 2 points that I have the most problems with. Let's talk about the concept of not having a heart in the show, and I just want to say specifically talking about this one first rather than my other one, is because my other one I think is more of like a reader problem, a skill issue maybe, but this one right here is like a definite like, what the fuck's up with the story moment. Now for some reason the writer decided to float around the idea of the character thinking he doesn't have a heart or like normal feelings like a human would have. My problem here is that it wasn't a one-off situation. They reuse it, I think, only twice. They bring it up twice, and it's enough to make you go like, is this a plot point that they drop for no reason? And they drop this plot point at a very emotional, important time in the story. And that transitions really well into my next problem, the tone. So Denji just killed his oldest friend who looked after him for a long time. They went through thick and thin together, especially at the start of the story. And he questions himself. He goes, why don't I feel sad about this? Am I human? Is my heart gone? And it's a really emotional and thought-provoking scene. And this is where the tone switch comes in. The main character just killed most likely your favorite character who he also deeply cared about. And it gets played off for laughs, literally in the next sentence. And this is what I need help with, because remember how I said this might be a fucking skill issue and I'm just dumb and I don't know what I'm fucking reading? Is this the type of story and the tone where you have your main characters die gruesomely and then you joke about it straight away? And I'm not saying that this was disrespectful, they should have like given him more screen time to be sad about it. I literally do not know if this is made this way on purpose. At this point in the series, we know Makima is evil. We know she's the mastermind behind it. We have this scary aura the entire time, like she's controlling everything from behind the scenes. From her killing the gun devil, making Denji fight his best friend, all the way to him questioning if he's heartless, we're feeling distraught, upset, and uncomfortable the entire time due to good writing, but then they throw it all away in like a second. And you're like, was I feeling the wrong feelings that entire time? All of this time when my friend died, I saw Makima's actually evil, we found out her true intent, everything's crumbling, we're feeling sad, it's fucking horrible. Was that not the intent of the writing the entire time? Was I wrong? And that's what I want help here. Was I wrong feeling that way? Was this always supposed to be a funny, like, laugh at every moment situation? Because it really took me out of it. I genuinely don't know if I'm wrong here. Alright, it's time to talk about the pacing. And this is getting way too long, so I'm gonna be condensed, but also spit some fucking facts, alright? So, I had a favorite character, and I don't remember his name, so I'm just gonna call him this guy, and I'm gonna put a picture up of this guy, just because I don't remember his fucking name. So, we get introduced to the squad, our fucking underlings, the weaklings. We have Power, Cool Sword Guy, the main character, this guy, and the girl, yeah, the fucking girl, and then we also have, like, the vomit girl as well. She's mid, alright? The bad mid. And as you know, I didn't really like Denji's motivation at the very start, so I didn't like him as my favorite character. I didn't like Power because I'm not a fucking loser and I don't see women instantly and go, oh, she's my favorite. The sword guy was close, the new girl was like just annoying, the eye patch girl didn't have her time to shine yet, but then there was this guy. And this guy was basic, and that's why I liked him. He looked normal. I use the big sword in every game that lets me use the big sword. So then they die, right? Simple as that, they fucking die. And I'm like, I know what's going on here. I've seen this before. The whole point is to get you to like these characters as soon as possible and then kill them as soon as possible. So you're like, oh, fuck. I know what I'm in for now. / I don't know what I'm in for now because I don't know what's gonna happen. But I do know what's gonna happen because I've seen it before. You know what the fuck I'm saying. And then the thing is, they do it again. And then again. And then again. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'll give you the first one, right? Because I didn't know it was gonna happen. But now, you're just fucking up. And you know what I mean, right? The first time, I'll give you a pass, right? Because you're setting the stage, right? It wasn't you were getting me invested in the characters and blah, 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 and like really trying to reach down into my feelings when you take them away. I'll be like, oh, okay, fine. I'll let you have this one. You're setting the stage. But then, the shitty pacing carries through with the, here's a character, they die, here's a character, they die. They do it too much. And the thing is, they don't do it good. So it's just a fucking waste of time. I don't feel attached to anyone. And then when I lose them, I'm like, cool, they're gone. The only thing I'm upset about is wasting my fucking time. And this has a horrible side effect. Remember how I said they always introduce new characters just for them to die? And the thing is, you don't feel attached to them, so it's a fucking waste of time? Why is it such a waste of time? Why do you feel such a deep hatred for them wasting your time? It's because they're doing this. They're making you focus on every little character that you know is going to die soon. So instead of progressing with characters that you do care about, hence, this is very important because remember how I said the sword guy kind of becomes obsolete because of all these other characters? This is what I mean. We're focusing on all these random fucking characters that we know will die because we've seen it before because they keep doing it. And then this character that we were so invested in before, the sword guy, he's kind of getting fucking shoved away because we're constantly, instead of focusing on his story, learning another story about these people who are just going to fucking die soon anyway. So it's a waste of time. Okay, so because of all of these new people who are wasting our time, Swordman, his story gets pushed away, even though we do care about it. So while we're fucking around with all these new people and Denji's weird ass fucking story about needing to be protected and all of that shit goes on, randomly, after it's all done, Swordman's story comes back. I'm like, holy shit, I kind of forgot you existed. Good to see you again. And then he dies. So he gets an important story, we're invested, he gets taken away, he comes back, and then he dies. It's so lame. And what do we get for it? What do we show? Shitty, unprovoking, I met new people, they die. Ooh, good storytelling. We got that instead of an actual, like, interesting plot. To leave it on a positive note, if you didn't know, Chainsaw Man is turning into a series. That's why I've been calling it a series this entire time. It's not just one part, it's 2 parts. It's still like a JoJo thing. And so far, so good. It's only like 11 chapters as of right now. But the artwork is already consistently better. The power scaling is already consistently better. And also all of the small things, like, like these characters that get introduced and they get enough time for them to be likable and then die. That's more better. And also they're more fleshed out. I don't want to spoil it because there's basically a girl that the main character makes friends with, and she gives us like weird creepy vibes, but she's also kind of like her only friend. But it's actually thought-provoking. Like, she should die. She's kind of weird, and she's kind of got like a fucked up sense of justice, right? And this is good writing, right? You're like, I don't want her to die. She's kind of like the only nice one to us, but she's fucking insane. And also the art looks good the entire time. Denji is quite a bit more bearable. I have hope for the second part, and I hope all of these part one almost feels rushed, if I'm gonna be honest. And I hope he takes his time with the second one. I'm not saying like fucking One Piece or Berserk where it takes 40 fucking years to like even come close to ending. Just, pump the brakes a bit. Explore. You can still easily kill all the characters. I don't care if you kill every single character you introduce. Just give them a bit more time, right? You'll do better for yourself. You'll create a more impactful scenario if you do that. It's simple, it's good, and from the bottom of my heart, I genuinely believe part 2 is going to be good if it keeps this up. It's got good potential.